I think you can do it. You can still do it.
Let's look at it.
You can still do it.
No 5 miles in my dress sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. Proclamation. Gavel. Pen. Well, now that you said that, it won't be. Come on. This meeting of the Eau Claire City Council will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bergen.
Here.
Brewster.
Here.
Johnson. Imboga.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Otto.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Schoen.
Here.
Serrano.
Here.
Worthman.
Here.
Great, thank you. Welcome, everyone, to our Tuesday, March 24th meeting of the Eau Claire City Council. First up tonight is our consent agenda. If any of you are here for our consent agenda, just know we vote on this with one vote, and so when it passes, you are good to go. With that, do council members have questions regarding the consent agenda or wish to remove anything for separate consideration? Okay, all right, then on a motion by Councilmember Otto, second by Councilmember Serrano. This item, the consent agenda is moved. Any discussion? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Great. The consent agenda passes unanimously. We have two proclamations tonight. Our first one is Hmong Heritage Month, which I don't think anyone is here to accept, so I will read here from my seat. And then we have one for National Public Health Week, which Lisa will, or Director Giese will meet me up front. But first up, Hmong Heritage Month. Whereas the Hmong are an ethnically and culturally diverse people with roots in Southeast Asia, specifically Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Myanmar, and China. And whereas during the Vietnam War, thousands of members of the Hmong community were a vital part of the American war effort, supporting and fighting alongside American troops. And whereas when the United States withdrew from the region, the Hmong faced harsh retribution from the communist, Vietnamese, and Lao governments for their involvement, and thousands of refugees were forced to flee their native lands and later resettled in communities throughout the United States, including Eau Claire. And whereas Hmong Americans have lived and worked in Eau Claire since the first family arrived in 1976 and have contributed greatly to our local identity and region's rich history, culture, economy, and public service. And whereas the city of Eau Claire stands united in denouncing racism and discrimination and remains committed to fostering a safe and inclusive community because all are welcome here. Now, therefore, I, Emily Berge, President of the Eau Claire City Council, on behalf of the entire City Council, do proclaim April as Hmong Heritage Month in the City of Eau Claire and urge all citizens to reflect on the sacrifices the Hmong people have made for our country and join us in honoring and celebrating this rich culture and the legacies of Hmong Americans to our community, our state, and our nation. Oh. And I do know there's some specific Hmong events coming up, so maybe I'll look those up and can share them in the updates. Maybe I don't have it in front of me right now, but our next meeting too. So make sure we support that. And so if, Lisa, want to meet me up front for National Public Health Week? I'll have to sign it though. Make it official. So whereas National Public Health Week recognizes the important role of public health in improving the well-being of communities across the nation, including Eau Claire, and whereas our community continues collaborative work to address Eau Claire County's top identified health concerns, housing, mental health, substance misuse, alcohol misuse, and childcare, and whereas the Eau Claire City County Health Department supports a thriving and healthy community through efforts such as responding to and preparing for potential communicable disease outbreaks through education and providing immunizations, conducting environmental inspections and water testings to prevent health risks and to respond to community needs, supporting families and young children through programs like WIC and Nurse Family Partnership, developing and implementing strategies to address opioid-related harm through prevention, treatment, and recovery efforts, and convening community partners across sectors to collaborate on improving local health outcomes. And whereas the theme of this year's Health Week is Ready, Set, Action, highlighting the impact of scientific discovery, legislation, and community initiatives that improve the health of Americans. Now therefore, I, Emily Berge, President of the Eau Claire City Council, on behalf of the entire City Council, do recognize the week of April 6, 2026 to be National Public Health Week, and call upon the people of Eau Claire to observe this week by helping our families, friends, neighbors, coworkers, and leaders by working to understand the value of public health better to create a healthy and thriving community for us all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, President Berge, and thanks to City Council members. It is really an enormous thanks to everybody in the community that makes a difference in health outcomes in this community, in the city of Eau Claire and across Eau Claire County. Health Department absolutely does not do it alone, but the 60+ people that work at the Health Department on all kinds of programs and services really do work hard, connect with partners, and make a difference, but we couldn't do it without all the people sitting in this room, all of you guys, and all kinds of partners across the community. An enormous thank you to the staff that work at our department. They have been working hard this year. We have a hot off the press annual report that Councilmember Miller will be part tomorrow at the Board of Health meeting of hopefully approving, but until it's approved, we will not officially share it, but I will share it with President Berge. So you all can see in that annual report the kind of work that we do across all the different program areas. We often say the work of public health is invisible, and I think Public Health Week is a time where we can make some of it a bit more visible. If we're doing our work well, you are not getting sick when you go to the restaurants in the city of Eau Claire, and you are not having challenges with things that are happening related to opioid overdoses. You are having new moms and babies being given the nutrition and the support they need for success. So when we have all those things happening right, things look really well in our community, and we've got good employees, and we have families that want to come to this community. So we'll keep working hard. We count on the partnership with all of you, and thanks for recognizing the week. Stop by for the Public Health Week if you'd like to see what's going on.
Okay, onto our business agenda. So number 12, resolution authorizing 2025 year-end budget adjustments. So 25 to 26 year-end budget carryovers and 26 first quarter budget adjustments. And we have Michael here to talk through this. So thanks for being here.
Yes, good afternoon, council members. My item on the agenda today is our standard process of bringing periodic budget adjustments before you for city council approval. We have some 25 year-end adjustments, 25 to 26 carryovers, and then some first quarter 26 adjustments as well. The following information is detailed on the memorandum within your council packet, but I will attempt to briefly summarize these adjustments so that we have them on the record. And please let me know if there are any questions. So to start with will be the 25 year-end budget adjustments. Now, these year-end adjustments are required each year whenever the total budget of a fund is exceeded. Adjustments are also required whenever a department budgeted for within the city's general fund exceeds its total departmental budget. So the following items, numbered 1 through 9 on your memorandum, are all related to the year-end budget adjustments. Item number 1, the Suppression Operations Division of our fire department requires a budget amendment in the amount of $254,450, and this is for additional funding that was needed for equipment purchases. This amendment has a net zero impact on the overall general fund, as there are savings within a number of other departments that came in under budget. to account for this. Item number 2, the Redevelopment Authority Fund requires a budget amendment in the amount of $141,664, and this is due to increases on land credit towards RDA land sales. Item number 3, the West Grand Avenue bid budget requires an amendment in the amount of $3,845, and this is for bid approved purchase of garlands and lights, and this increase will come out of the bids fund balance. Item number 4, the 7 Mile Creek Landfill Fund, it requires an amendment in the amount of $205,450, and this is due to increased payments to our partner municipalities due to increased revenue received. Our partner municipalities with the 7 Mile Creek Landfill would be Eau Claire County and the town of Seymour. Item number 5, the Cemetery Maintenance Fund requires an amendment of $24,156, and this is due to higher than anticipated payroll costs. This amount is offsetted with higher revenue received than what was budgeted for. Item number 6, the Risk Management Fund requires a budget amendment of $2,093,309. The predominant factors leading to this adjustment are there was $1.7 million in insurance claims in '25, and then there was also an additional $200,000 in fleet damage claims in 2025. This amendment proposes the use of $1,119,836 in the fund balance usage from Risk Management's fund balance, and then the remaining $973,473 would be transferred from the general fund to Risk Management in order to help replenish the Risk Management fund balance. Item number 7, this is for the Hazardous Materials Fund. This fund requires a budget amendment of $12,483 due to increase on equipment purchases and payments to organizations, and this will come from the Hazardous Materials Fund balance. Item number 8, the Economic Development Fund. This fund requires a budget amendment of $351,467. A portion of this amendment, $250,000 worth, is a pass-through grant from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, and then the remaining amount of the $101,467 is loan fund balanced that is used for loan disbursements in 2025. Item number 9, the Water Utility Fund requires a budget amendment in the amount of $7,955,337. The reason for this adjustment is increase in capital project expenditures related to PFAS remediation, and this expense is being offset by the receipt of settlement funds from 3M and DuPont, as well as some settlement funds received through the Safe Drinking Water Fund loan through the DNR. So that is items 1 through 9 for the 25 year-end carryovers. The next major category would be our 25 to 26 carryovers. For the city revolving loan fund, the balance of this loan fund program will be carried over to 26 to allow staff and the loan board to continue issuing loans whenever favorable applications are received. And item number 10 is just showing that the carryover amount for the revolving loan fund program is $1,202,932. And then the next major category in the memo is the 25 to 26 year-end capital carryovers. Capital budget appropriations lapse each year for recurring programs and then every 3 years for non-recurring programs. Departments make carryover requests for capital programs that are not yet complete or that have remaining committed costs. Capital budgets carryovers requests total approximately $41.2 million. Items number 11 through 23 on your memorandum are all related to the year-end capital carryovers. I'm not going to read through each of these items because it's a couple pages and that would take quite a bit of time, but to list some of the funds that are requesting carryovers, the capital funds, we have water, sewer, storm, parking, transit, central equipment, environmental improvements, the land buildings and equipment fund, transportation improvements, parks and recreation, TIF number 13, the Cannery District, TIF number 14, the Menominee Street Redevelopment Area, and then the Redevelopment Authority Fund. Now, the list of these capital projects and the amounts requested to be carried over are detailed on the memorandum within your council packet. And then there's just one 2026 operating budget adjustment this evening. It's item number 24, and it's the public library has a first quarter budget adjustment in the amount of $17,304 in various gifts and grants received. And then the last category is going to be 2026 capital budget adjustments. And those will be items number 25 through 27 on your memo. Item number 25, this request came from our water utility department, and it is to transfer $147,500 from the Mount Washington Reservoir Recoat project and transfer it to the water generator project. The water generator project bid came in over the original budget amount, and so they are asking to reallocate the remainder of the funds from the Mount Washington Recoat project to allow them to fund the generator overage and any potential change orders. Item number 26, the city received $140,222 in insurance claim reimbursements for a squad car being replaced and also a riding lawnmower that was damaged. And this amendment will increase the vehicle replacement budget in order for them to purchase replacement equipment. And item number 27, the last item on your memo, this is related to $30,000 in escrow that the city retained due to completion of work within a development agreement. And this item would increase the trail program budget by $30,000, which reimburses the city for the work that it had to complete in relation to this. And that is all of the items that I have on the budget amendment memo. So please let me know if there are any questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Brewster?
Thank you, Council President.
Flip up your tag, too.
Oh, I sure could.
Thanks. You're good.
Thanks. I was wondering if you could maybe go into a little bit of detail, if you're allowed to, on the risk management
Yeah,
overages.
I can at least provide, I talked to our risk management, and I was able to at least get some information, so I can provide you some information that I have. This year was particularly high in terms of our insurance claim payments and our fleet damage claim payments. The information that I received is that our property claims increased by 43% in 2025, and our workers' compensation claims rose by 45%. Much of this increase is attributed to the implementation of a new reporting system, which is capturing more accurate and complete data. In 2025, we also experienced significant vehicle-related incidents where restitution is unlikely due to criminal activity. And then, according to our risk manager, they believe the most significant factor in 25 was that we had was the incurred workers' compensation losses. The increase was driven by several high-cost injury claims, and medical expenses continue to rise significantly, and the shortage of local medical providers has led to longer wait times for appointments, resulting in extended time away from work between visits. So that was some information that I have for you, at least immediately.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Mr. Cobal, for going through that long list there. There are a lot of different line items and different sums going around there. In the header of the resolution, and one of the whereases, it said that the 2025 general fund will see an increase of $973,000 and some change. So would that say, with all these adjustments, giving things that were over budget, things that didn't use your budget up, capital being rolled over again, that the city from the general fund spent $973,000 less than anticipated to? Is that how to read that line of the fund will see an increase of that amount?
The $973,000 related to the general fund, it's an increase in the total. It would increase the total expense of the budget by that amount, and it is going from the general fund into the risk management to help replenish their fund balance because of some of the high insurance claim year that we had this year. So it will increase the overall budget by that amount.
So the increased amount taken from the general fund. Not, okay, because the wording was kind of vague. It said we'll see an increase, but it's the amount taken out of it will increase, not the amount in the fund itself.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
It'll increase, yes, it'll increase. It's not a savings within the general fund, it's an
Yeah.
increase to
Yeah,
the
it
general
didn't look
fund.
that way, but then that line kind of read the other way, so I just wanted to.
I apologize for the
confirm.
confusion,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
I don't see other questions, so thank you, Mr. Corbel. It's very. So by motion made by Councilmember Johnson, second by Councilmember Brewster, this item is moved. Any discussion? Okay. Good job, Michael. I heard that. They're just giving him, yeah. But, okay, no discussions? City, oh, sorry, Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Council President. I always feel like when we're dealing with amounts of money of this type, like we should at least talk about it, but I honestly don't have anything to say. I mean, Michael did a great job
Yes,
of
yeah.
explaining, and, you know, it's all laid out here, so.
Other than Michael is incredible, is what I think I heard, so. Yes, I have mom ears, just so you know. Yeah, all right. Councilmember Miller?
Thank you. Actually, I had a follow-up question for Mr. Cobal, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
Oh.
Since we're in the middle of, you know, many work sessions on the budget, so this being presented here today, had this use increase from the general fund already kind of been, I mean, you saw this coming before it got presented for council action today. Has the amount needed here been already factored into our 2027 usage of general funds, or is this going to kind of have to be factored in as we go along these couple of months here?
In terms of the, in terms of the risk management claims and general fund usage, is that what you're referring to in particular?
Well, yeah, we're working on the 27 budget now, and now we're seeing that perhaps this, well, that we will be approving a use of $973,000 from the general fund. Is that going to weigh into our deliberations as we look at the 27 budget?
Yeah, I think we are certainly keeping that in mind as we prepare the 27 budget. I think that transfer is particularly high this year. The risk management fund has seen not just this year, but a couple years of relatively high insurance claims compared to usual. So this transfer this year is helping to replenish the fund balance, but we probably could have done, we could have done a little bit last year as well. So I think it's kind of a culmination of a couple of years of high insurance claims that are leading to this adjustment. I don't foresee that we would necessarily need another $900,000 adjustment next year. I think that would be very unusual, but we're definitely keeping that in mind as we prepare the 27 budget.
And while I have you up here, and it's probably in the list number, how much does the risk management usually keep in their general fund?
In their fund balance, so typically, I was looking over the last 10 years, and it's typically runs between about $6.1 and $7.3 million. Without this adjustment, they would be going down closer to about, I believe, $4 million without this adjustment. So I think this adjustment is to get them closer to where they have been historically, at least. It's still going to be lower, but it'll get them at least closer to help protect against unexpected claims and things like that. So,
Okay, thanks for coming back up.
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, I believe we moved it, so City Clerk, please call the roll.
Who moved it?
Who moved it? I have Councilmember Johnson and Councilmember Brewster.
Councilmember Brewster,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Mboga,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Schoen,
Aye.
Serrano,
Aye.
Worthman, Bergy.
Aye. And that passes unanimously. Okay, and then donations to transit. It's a resolution authorizing the Community Services Department to accept a monetary donation from Joining Our Neighbors Advancing Hope, or JONA, to sponsor free rides on Election Day, Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. And we have manager running.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Council President and Council. Before you is a resolution from Jonah wanting to sponsor free rides on April 7th for Election Day. They've sponsored free rides in the past for election days, and they do also want to include paratransit as well. So they work that out with our paratransit providers to cover the co-pays for those riders, but the money goes towards us also marketing that their rides for free, and we created some maps of bus routes to take to polling locations as well.
Great. Thank you. Oh, wait, let me see if there's questions for you. Is there any questions? Okay. All right, we're good. Thanks. So by motion made by Councilmember Imboga, second by Vice President Worthman, this item is moved. Any discussion? Councilmember Schoen?
Thank you, Council President Berge. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge how much I appreciate personally on behalf of our city residents that this donation was made, and I'm excited to support this resolution.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great.
and thank you to Jonah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Other comments? No? Okay, all right. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman. Aye. Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Thank you to Jonah. That's very generous of them to make sure people can vote on Tuesday, April 7th. So, our next resolution is a resolution authorizing the Community Services Department to accept a monetary donation of $300 from the local ATU 1310 for free transit rides on the day of Earth Fest, which is April 18th. And then I always want to call you planner, manager. I almost promoted you too, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So before you is a resolution to accept from our local ATU 1310, which is the union that represents our drivers and our shop personnel, to sponsor free transit rides for Earth Fest. That's the event that previously took place at the Brewing Project, but this year it's taking place at the Sonnentag Center, and it's on a Saturday. We'll have a bus there, and they'll do kind of like a touch-a-truck event. So we're really excited to go and attend, and thank you to the ATU for sponsoring it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Do you have a question for? Oh, okay. Never mind. It's false alarm. Okay. All right. So no questions. So by motion made by Councilmember Miller, second by Councilmember Schoen, this item is moved. Any discussion? Okay. Well, I'll say thank you. Thank you to the local ATU 1310 for free transit rides. Things like this is what makes our community really special, and it's really nice that they even think of this idea and then to follow through with it. And I know that requires leadership and planning, and I know I'm appreciative of that, and I'm sure council is too. So with that, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Imboga.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Schoen.
Aye.
Serrano.
Aye.
Worthman.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Brewster.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
That item passes unanimously. Okay, we have one item for introduction, ordinance for introduction, Title 17 Land Development Official Zoning Map and Title 19 Stormwater. This is ordinance amending specific sections of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Eau Claire, Title 17 Land Development Official Zoning Map and Title 19 Stormwater. Would council like to suspend the rules and take this up tonight? Okay, then we'll move on to announcements and updates by City Manager Hirsch.
Thank you. In terms of events, please remember that we potentially have a special meeting next Monday, the 30th at 6 p.m. If you can't make it, let me know so that we make sure we have enough people. And I also wanted to thank all of the people who worked so hard to try to get the innovation funding over the finish line, even in that compressed timeline. Thank you to our departments who weren't able to submit, the health department, library, and fire. And just a huge thank you to Pat Newkirk. He really lost so much sleep over this. Just an amazing, huge heart, so much passion for recreation. Grew up in it, still just serves so many people. And he really wants what's best for the community and was trying to make this work. So we may have one, but I also wanted to say, for those of you who were here last night, I'm sure you agree with me. It was so amazing to hear the speakers come and talk about what they love about our community, if that didn't just fill you with pride. And it's so frustrating that we have to make any cuts. We're doing so much, so well. We just need to continue it with the funding we have. So I hope there's a resolution, but I wanted to thank you guys who are here, the user group folks. And I gotta say, Christy Casto, right there, raise your hand. I think you're the head of youth hockey.
No, figure skating.
Figure skating. Okay. She's living in the house I grew up in, and I know how amazing Eau Claire was to grow up and live there in the 70s, and it's even more amazing now. So I don't know what we can do to preserve that fabric of our community that makes it so special, but certainly they gave us a call to action, and I'm grateful. I was so inspired to hear all of the soccer people, the figure skating, the hockey, and all the other people speak on behalf of our community. So I just want to thank our staff and the community members on that.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Council President. Going back to the Hmong proclamation earlier today, one of the events coming up, I'll do a plug for.
Great.
Volume 1 has produced a documentary called A Half Century of Home, 50 Years of Hmong Resettlement in Eau Claire. You can read all about it on the Volume 1 website, but that will be hosted on Thursday, April 18th, 6:30 p.m. at the Pablo Center. So they made a documentary, and it will feature 50 years of Hmong living in the Eau Claire community. So I'm definitely going to check that out.
Mm-hmm. Did you say the 16th, right?
April 16th
Yeah.
at 6:30 p.m. at the Pablo.
Great, yeah. You there? Actually, I found I'm glad, thank you, Councilmember Miller. I found a few other events I was thinking of mentioning too. So yes, he caught the documentary on the 16th. Then also the North High School Hmong Club Hmong Heritage Month celebration on April 24th. And then the Hmong Heritage Month Gala on April 25th. And then the Hmong American Day celebration hosted by Power Up Eau Claire on May 16th. So there are several events that we can participate in to support and lift up our Hmong community. So, any other announcements? Oh yeah, when we have a work session. So, but we will to adjourn first. Yep. So this meeting is adjourned, and then move into our work session.
Can we just forge ahead and zoom right into
Sure,
this?
let's do it.
Okay, so on the agenda today, you will be surprised to learn, we're going to continue to talk about the budget. We have Katrina and Ty here to answer your questions about options for transit for the future. But before we get into that, I wanted to, can you find those slides? This is basically most of you filled out the spreadsheet to try to indicate how you would try to balance the budget. And I gave that to you yesterday. I just refined it a little bit today based on what's possible, not possible. And so this, if you can just take that and pass it out. This is our best guess of how we will proceed unless you really disagree with this path forward, or unless we learn something. It's going to be, we're still really early in the budget process, but so it is going to continue to be revised as we go. And I also have your questions, which I collated, and I have to take a look at those. But so our big question mark with the budget is the health insurance. We're expecting it to increase by 15%, as it did this past year. If it comes in lower, I think Aaron or somebody asked this question about what are the variables, what's the best case scenario, what's the worst case scenario. If the budget increase comes in lower, then we will have more wiggle room. If it comes in higher, or if there's some other factor that drives with the budget, of course, then it could get even worse. So anyway, if you can take a look at this, see if you're okay with the ones in purple. I just made an executive decision to modify in some way, partly because there are some cases where we kind of just double counted, like we counted a cut twice, so it wasn't really realistic. So I've adjusted those a little bit. The ones in purple you can look at, and then the ones on the back page, those are off the table now, unless somebody revives them. Okay, so now,
The ones on the back side are off the table?
Yeah, because the council didn't express support for those.
Okay, thank you.
Can you explain purple again?
Purple was where I made a little adjustment. Like, for example, the council very much supported reducing mowing, but we had kind of put that in there, but there isn't really no way you could reduce mowing that much. It would be like turning the whole city, significant parts of our community into forest land. which may be desirable, but that would be a really big, so, but, and if it is something you really want to explore more, we can, you can let me know, and we can bring in those departments and have them talk about their work areas.
Do you want questions? Look like there's questions right away. Do you want?
Sure.
Okay, so Councilmember Schoen? Or Jess?
Yeah, we're in a work session.
Yeah, right, first names.
So I just have one quick question. I noticed for the library line item for reducing transfers, the proposed reduction is 50,000, and I know, I believe all of council received an email today, about, well, in regards to, actually, I guess it's senior center.
The senior center, yeah, the first one.
So then I take back my question. I was gonna say the dollar amounts are not matching up, but that explains it, so.
Yeah.
never mind.
So they had asked to not be reduced by the full amount. We reduced them last year, and then this year, we proposing reducing them by the full amount, or coming up with a way that we could contract with services with them.
Councilor Larry?
Yeah, thank you, Amir. This is my question. I think I asked you yesterday, but it's for Steve. So if we go back to 2022, we had the referendum about the police and the fire.
Can you talk a little louder, Larry?
Oh, so I'm saying if we go back to 2022, we had that referendum about the fire. We asked the city resident for referendum so that we had, I think, 7 firefighters and 7 police officers. So right here we are reducing. So how would the community react with that?
How would the community respond?
Yeah, because they have already,
Right.
they already okay
Yeah.
for police to add more police and fire.
I think it's
and
more-
then now we are reducing them.
I think it's really not a legal question. It's more of a political question. And so when we did the referendum, if you may recall, we really need a referendum to maintain as opposed to expand. And so that's the challenge with referendums, is that people do not want to pay for maintaining. They'd rather pay for expanding. So this would be, yeah, people will not like that. But it's not prohibited by law.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Clara?
Thanks, Emily. So I'm still a little confused on the purple. So the first
Yeah.
2 purple about reducing mowing. I think on our original sheet that you gave us last night, it kind of showed reduced
Yeah.
mowing at parks, 120,
Yeah.
cemetery at 50, but you already had on the right-hand side kind of council total of 30,000 and 12,500, but that's what I see now on the
Yeah.
new sheet.
So, right, I just changed it, man. In the original sheet, it was 120,000 for mowing in parks and 50,000 for mowing in the cemetery. But the thing is, we've also reduced community services in other areas, like overtime and cutting positions. And so basically, if you put that if you do all of them, it ends up really, really decimating community services. So that's why I made
My question is really more about the numbers. So, I mean, we have on our sheet 30,000 and 12,500 on the sheet you gave us yesterday, under council total. Mm-hmm. So you're saying keep it at that level?
Yeah.
So those are still on the table, but at that level?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Charlie?
Thanks. I don't have my sheet from yesterday, but I am also noticing that the difference between the proposed and then the, I got it right here. Never mind.
Okay, that was easy.
That's the best kind of question, Charlie.
Josh?
Thanks. So going to the side that is essentially off the table, one of them was, and you talked about, with, the community likes referendums that expand something, and then one of the items was, where did it go on the list here?
This is rank ordered now by your level of
Sure.
support.
Well, I just want to bring
basically.
up again, I can't find it. Fire referendum. Referendum for a new fire station existing staffing. Looks like only 2, well, maybe 2 or so council members support that one. And I just don't want to give that option up yet, because that's something that would be supported by voters, it wouldn't be a decision from us. It would require us to, formulate the question and get it on a ballot, but, I mean, I don't see, I'm thinking that the upside of possibly getting this and bringing it to the community, because the community in the past has shown support for public safety. So I'm not sure why it got such tepid support among the council. I just want to bring that up again, that maybe people think about that, because, if we put the question out there and they approve it, then that's, money for a new fire station that the voters will approve and want to come from us, from our budget. So I just want to not let that one die without, bringing it up again.
Okay. Nate?
Oh, thank you, Council President. So with the proposed referenda, is $1 million a set figure, or was there rationale behind that versus a lower amount for either referenda?
No, there was no rationale.
Okay.
So basically, the last time we did this, we hired a consultant to survey the community to try to get, and we worked together with the school district and to try to get what the number of people wanted to pay for and what they wanted to support. And at that point, we settled on, I think it was 1.3 million, is that right? And it earned a lot of support, so maybe we would have been able to say 1.7 million or something like that, but we just, there wasn't a way to know. Okay, yeah, kids.
Just to add value to the $1 million, the SAFER grant would be about $500,000 to $600,000 a year when the staff are going through the levels. So that plus equipment, and then the CPI on that. So after a couple of years, it would exceed that amount to retain staff. So that's kind of the thought process behind $1 million. That makes sense. So we have 6 existing firefighters that will drop off of grant eligibility this year.
Okay. Aaron?
Yeah, so, thank you. My question is, I guess, about the police and fire reductions. Is that going to impact us with regards to maintenance of effort?
That's a great question. That's like expert knowledge. Can you explain what maintenance?
Yeah. No, there is a portion to the budget in the fire department and the police department that would not be impacted by the MOE. So we do have non-union positions in those areas. You would not want to affect within the fire department the training, the response time, the number of staffing, and you don't want to reduce the budget from the prior year. So it'd be almost next to impossible to reduce the budget down from before the prior year with the amount of the union increases on the wages and the health insurance. So,
Sure.
So no, any reduction we'd work with both chiefs to give us proposals that would not impact that. One of those today was a proposal to mitigate storage costs, for example, on the operating side rather than payroll.
Follow up if I could?
Sure.
So with the SAFER grant coming to an end, that's at the end of this year?
Yes.
Okay, so is that included in our maintenance of effort? And
No.
so if but like for 27, if we keep the staffing levels that were supported by the SAFER grant, at that point, then we are on the hook for it moving forward, right?
The MOE allows you to subtract certain areas, and one of the areas they want you to subtract are staff that are covered by state or federal grant funding. So those are automatically carved out of the staffing numbers. So it would have no impact if you did not retain those positions.
Okay, and that's 7 positions?
6 positions are covered into the SAFER grant.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I think Clara?
Thanks. Just wanting to continue on that line of thinking. So those 6 positions right now are not in the budget. We're assuming those are not included?
Yes, we would assume that we're not filling those, or we'll look at other solutions. Some items that were brought up were just having positions that offset overtime without increasing their budget. So $0, but allowing them to keep the position, and it will be covered by overtime.
Okay, and if I can ask one more question. So, again, looking at yesterday's spreadsheet and today's spreadsheet, Stephanie, we have reductions for police and fire. I think in yesterday's, we had them 50,000 each. On the new purple, we have 100,000 each, but then there was also a couple of line items in yesterday's of hold open 2 positions for police and 2 positions for fire. One was 90,000, the other was 45,000. So are we?
Yeah.
Is that where?
Yes.
So
It's
now
combining them to just one, and then they might, they would decide how they want, I mean, it doesn't have to be what, they could make a decision how they want to make that reduction.
Okay.
The
so,
thing is about police and fire, but especially police, is because they've had so much challenge, and this answers, I think, your question, Clara, about why it impacts the fund balance, is that the fire department has had so much, the police department has had so much trouble, like every police department, achieving full staffing. So they've been very understaffed, which has all kinds of bad impacts. But as a result, they've returned, this year actually it's the least, which is great for them, but they return that extra money to our fund balance. So then that goes into the funding that we would use to do one-time capital projects or whatever. But so if if they lower by 1 position, if they leave a position open, it might not impact them in terms of staffing for that year, but it does. It's sort of like chipping away at the like long. It's like definitely a Band-Aid.
well, because I can imagine then overtime, and overtime is
Right.
more costly.
And then people get discouraged, and then they have a harder time filling the positions, and so it's like
But I'm just really trying to keep the numbers straight in my head. So I think yesterday you had, the 90 plus the 45, that's 135 plus another 100, so that's 235. And in the purple, we're saying it's just 200.
200 for 100 for each.
Right.
I think basically because I think it should be the same for police and fire, that the same amount reduction. So one was like, yeah.
I guess what I'm kind of wondering is,
Yeah.
do we have some wiggle room there where we could increase those amounts to ask, hey, instead of reducing by 100, can you reduce by 150 each?
I mean, you guys can do you're the boss, so you can do what you want, yeah.
Thank you.
And also, if there's we probably will figure out a way to have, if there is, this kind of spreads the pain, I guess, but if there is a department that's really impacted, they probably will want to come and talk to you guys.
Thanks.
Charlie?
Thank you. So in this new sheet, the reduction or revenue column are the values that you're now proposing. And if I just cherry pick 2, for example, like specifically with the paid parking just at Carson or in neighborhoods, Carson was 84, now it's 42. Neighborhoods was 175, now it's 43,800. I know this was a change from last night, but how does that? So that's now your expected revenue, but if you were like expecting 175,000 and now you're saying 43,000, like if you hit 43,000, do you then just stop patrolling or metering, or what is the?
So just to know, the reason why it's less is because the ones that were had lower support, I just reduced it, which this might not have a rhyme or reason, but that's what I did. So I would say probably we would come up with a pilot. And maybe Dave can comment on this, but I'm just talking off the top of my head to say,
Yeah.
pick a smaller area and it would be a pilot, and maybe you make sure, I know some people said it's really important that everybody who lives in the neighborhood can park for free, has a permit and a guest pass, so it just puts less pressure on the program to generate.
Yeah. So essentially, it's just the percentage of your value that was proposed. You're just taking the percentage of what council is supporting, and that's kind of how you're getting these new.
I just kind of the ones where there is less support but still some support, I lowered the amount.
And this, I'm assuming, this is coming out to 2.2 million?
It's 2 million right now.
Okay.
So it's a little, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is where we would go ahead with these, and it's going to change a little bit, and there'll probably be some roadblocks, and maybe we'll have some other ideas that come in, but this is would be kind of our marching orders for the next few months.
Nate?
Oh, thank you, Emily. With parking fees, since Charlie mentioned, does this assume a fixed rate regardless of time or event, or is there no assumption? Like, is it within the realm of possibility to have variable rates depending on events or times of day or anything like that?
I'm going to have the parking master come up. One of the parking masters.
Who's that?
Sometimes he's the trash master, and sometimes he's the parking master.
There's so many labels. I don't know where to begin. Hello, City Council. We're looking at that right now. If it's operated like downtown parking, if it's 50 cents or $1 an hour, and we were talking with Hobbs like that. One option that we've been throwing around is, would our park system operate like the county park system, where you pull in, it's $5 a day, or you get a pass to go between those. Another option would be event parking. We used to try event parking downtown, where we would staff the ramps, and it was a straight $5, and then the arms would go up. So those final numbers on what they would be the ones that we would be determined, and then City Council would pass, because we would have to include that in our fee and license tables that go along with the operating budget. So we're going to try to find what makes the most sense, that gets us to our revenue estimates, and is the easiest to follow for people. So,
Thank you.
Great. Clara, you have
Sorry, yeah, I think I'm going to re-ask the same thing Larry asked, or Charlie asked. So on the sheet you gave us today, the bottom line, we're at $2,025,000, and we need to get to $2.2 million, and you made some reductions in some items based on what you gauged was council support for these items. Okay, so is that the purpose of what we're going to review now, is to see what can we increase to get to that 2.2, or how?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to understand, first of all, understand what we're looking at, and then like, what's our next step?
Yeah. So I think mainly we just kind of want some general guidance, and I think so it's really stressful right now in the city, and one of the most stressful thing is the uncertainty. So like, I think once we have some certainty, then we can probably deal with it and go forward. And so we kind of just want some preliminary marching orders to continue to inch forward. I think it's just fine if you guys are kind of okay with this, or you want to sleep on it or get back to me in the next few days. We'll just inch forward with it, and knowing that there could be more cuts in the future or savings, and we can refund some of these, and we can come back to you with those. This is still, like I said, really early in the budget season, so we have a lot of time, but we do want to do like public engagement and start moving, we have to move employees to avoid them being laid off, kind of thing.
And then I have another, go ahead. Well, that's mine
know.
after these guys.
I think Larry, and then Aaron.
No, I'll let Larry go.
So, thank you, Emily. So I have a question which direct to Steve, direct to Stephen, direct to Winters, direct to Dave. So this is one question. So this morning I was at Fairfax running, and I ran with this guy who used to work here. And they asked me this question. Then I thought I would just brought that question here. So I don't think it's here. So if we are talking the budget, he say, how much gas does the city car use? How many cars does the police have? Why do we have one car for one police? Why can't we have one car for two police? How many cars total do we have in the entire city? Maintenance, all those stuff, we need to look from that side too, but it's not here. So that's why I said, I could not answer that question. That's why I'm throwing it to you guys, all of the four of you guys.
I don't know if Steve Nick knows the answer to that. But I do think Mr. Lane might know, or Mr.
Oh, Kitsy knows.
I'm sorry.
Strangely enough, we were talking about the number of police vehicles today. So they do share some vehicles. So we don't have a 1-for-1 ratio
we don't.
on all of the vehicles in the fleet. I don't know if that kind of answers your question. So there's.
Police cars do we have?
We can
Oh,
have
I have
the
that written on a paper in my office. It was like 30 and 20. Yeah.
27 or 28.
Yeah, there's 27 or 28, and then there's a differential. It's close to that figure for marked to unmarked, but we can get that exact number back to you.
But they're running, so basically when we
24
put
hours a day, yeah.
when we put a vehicle to auction, it has been idled or running like 24 hours a day for years. And since we just have one person cruisers, so it's just one person going out in the car, we don't have two people vehicles, so it would just be one person for that shift. But if you'd like to have the streets and fleet manager come, he could tell you a lot more about it.
So, do you guys, after 100,000 miles in the car, do you guys have?
We've,
What's the
yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we do reevaluate the vehicle, and sometimes we even replace the seat because that's what's getting worn, not the actual vehicle. And we are within the city limits, whereas, you know, sometimes counties can treat theirs differently because they cover a larger area. So they're evaluated individually, and then we do share within or decommission and sometimes use them in other areas as well.
Yeah, so like our
it's-
recreation vehicles or former police cars and that kind of
They
thing.
do have benchmarks on mileage, just like every vehicle, like our ambulance or fire truck or, but we don't automatically do that. We evaluate each vehicle. So they do try to stretch things out, like that. I know Neighborhood Services has one of the Jeeps, I believe, and we did replace one of the seats in there.
How many bikes do you have?
Bikes, I don't know that answer. I can look into that.
We got other people, other questions.
I'm kidding,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
okay, it's okay. So Jess?
Sure, thank you. I just have a comment based on something you said, Stephanie. So I appreciate, like, I really am sympathetic to city staff and how stressful it probably is right now, knowing that there's this deficit and not knowing exactly the direction that we will head in and addressing the deficit. But I also want to, and like, I appreciate actually how proactive staff have been in bringing this forward and prompting conversations about the budget. The one thing that I have just in terms of like my practical nature is in just a few weeks, we will have a spring election and also presumably an appointment process moving forward. So we'll have 2 new council members on council that aren't here for these discussions. So I know you, like, staff are really eager for
Yeah.
direction and some more information, but I just wanted to flag that as, like, I'm thinking about tonight as, you know, an opportunity for a substantial amount of council members that
Yeah.
will be here when the budget's passed to give feedback, but I also just have that in the back of my mind that we'll have potentially 2 new council members
That
that
makes
aren't
sense.
here and sharing their feedback, and they might have, you know, totally different opinions. But anyways, I just wanted to
That's a
share
good
that.
point.
I think ultimately, you can amend on the floor. Is that right, Steve?
Here's your chance. Would you like to go to the podium to answer?
No need, but it's true. You do ultimately adopt a budget in November. So these are important preliminary directions that you're providing. But ultimately, council, as it's seated in November, takes the votes that count.
Yes, so you can change your mind, you know, you can do whatever you think, so, but whatever guidance you do have, we'll go with until we have more information, then we'll share that.
Okay. Aaron?
Thank you. I'm wondering if,
Aaron, put your face right by your microphone.
oh my Lord.
Need it.
No, I'm wondering if you think there would be any benefit in having staff, especially directors and managers, also do this if they haven't. And I don't know what that collaboration has looked like up to this point, but I'd be interested in seeing, you know, what staff, especially ones that have been here for a long time and really intimately know the city, or what that would look like. And also, if perhaps there's more options that could be on here, and I just don't know.
Well, I'll say 2 things about it. One is that the one kind of guidance I've given to the staff is that I really don't want them to find savings in other departments, because it's just like really not good for morale to do that. And those of us who are privileged to be able to work with all the different departments, and as you know, they're incredibly different. So being a mechanic is really different than being an accountant. which is really different than running elections and being a paramedic. So like they're so different, and so it's pretty easy to be in one department and your intuition is to be like, oh well, I don't know what those people do over there. So like whatever we can do to help people understand what the other divisions do, even though they're so different, is what I want to promote. So I really don't want one department saying like, yeah, I'm not sure, they just seem to sit at their desk. Like, okay, you know, so no, you can't go and, we want to affirm all of the things that people do. So I don't want them finding cuts in other departments, but the departments really are being asked, and in our regular OSTAT meetings and lots of discussions, we talk about all kinds of ways to add revenue and cut services or create efficiency. So I do think that that's happening, and it's really neat seeing the departments, the divisions collaborate across each other. So like our community services, which has some really awesome managers, some of whom are in this room. I mean, they're all awesome. They said, you know what, I think Janice, Neighborhood Services, should be part of Community Services. She has a lot of overlap, a lot of synergy. We collaborate on this, so we're gonna invite her to all of our division head meetings. So now she's just basically been adopted by Community Services. So that's the kind of exciting connections that we see across departments. I don't know if there's a second point to that, but if you do want to, I don't know, we can have, if you want to have the departments come, you could have each division head come and present. It'll be a really long process, but they can talk to you about like the pain points, their ideas and that kind of thing.
I think that's not like how we used to do it, but yeah, during our budget discussions, directors would come up and just, it helps. And with 2 new council members, it's actually really helpful.
We could definitely do that, yeah. Yeah, we could set that up for the budget season, but it will be a lot of, it'll be really long, because there's like 40 divisions or something.
Very informative. Clara, you had?
Yes, thank you. So our bottom line right now, and kind of what the proposal on the table is $2,025,000, which we are short still. I'm still unclear on how many of the innovation funding items are included or not included here. I'm really unclear of, I guess maybe that's, I don't know if that's next on the agenda where we're going to talk about status on all the innovation funding. I think yesterday you said most of them were off the table.
Yeah, they're all off the table except for soccer park. But the Hobbs, you heard people refer yesterday to the Hobbs plan. So the user groups have been working with Pat to try to close the subsidy on Hobbs. So that would be covering that subsidy. And then the soccer park is the one that's still alive.
So we're actually quite a bit further away from balancing than what, I don't know.
No, it's all reflects where we're at right now.
The $2,025,000 already strikes out.
Yeah.
All the other innovation funding things from yesterday's sheet.
The health department wasn't going to benefit this thing. It would have just benefit the health department. The library would have been great, but it was like very complicated. And then fire was just many, many unknowns. And in fact, they might go ahead with combining with Chippewa Fire District, which would then mean that we would no longer serve Altoona for ambulance. So that's kind of taken a different direction.
Okay.
I think I understand that now.
Yeah.
So those are already removed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Andrew would like to speak next.
Thanks. This reducing mowing at parks, reducing mowing at cemetery. I'm really glad this is on here. Do we have an understanding of what the total amounts for both of those items are, roughly? Like, is it $500,000 for parks mowing and $250,000 for mowing of cemetery? Or any rough numbers on that?
We can get that to you.
Okay.
We'll pause.
Well, Kitsy's going to look for it, so we can come back to that.
I guess I would hope, I wonder if there's a way to get a little bit more out of that, like a little closer to the original proposed than the 30 and the 12, depending on, of course, how much is in that overall budget. You know, that's a big difference, 120 proposed, but only 30 really doable.
Let's do a little research on this. And the thing is, we do have our cartograph information now, so it has been sort of surprising how not expensive some things are and expensive some other things. Oh, Kazi's going to tell us.
I was just gonna add to it that we have hours in here. The budget would be partially available for each of those areas with Cartograph. I think we used it for about a half a year, but we can tie numbers to this for the cost of mowing.
Yeah.
So we'll update the figures and get that to you probably within a week and a half.
So, but just, I guess, like, part of my reason for reducing it is that we also, like, for example, remember we got rid of the, what was it called, the curly pond leaf treatment? And then we were going to hire another staff person, but we didn't hire another staff person. And then we also have here eliminating positions and cutting overtime. So it's kind of like a cumulative impact of, and then like Cannery Park is coming online and stuff like that. So that department is really, really getting squeezed. And so I just want to be aware that, and that's also forestry and, it's really, over the years, it's just been compressed and compressed and compressed, and we haven't really like offloaded stuff.
I guess, could I ask a follow-up?
Yeah, one more.
The part, going back to Councilmember Brewster's police and fire, I wasn't aware that there's this difference that like some of the police and fire operating budgets are under that maintenance of effort category. Some part of their budget's not, I assume. I don't have any idea how to conceptualize. What are we talking about? Is it 5% of their budget is outside of an MOE? Is it a quarter? I have no idea raw numbers, or like what are we talking about, and whether 100,000 is a huge deal to the budget of the non-MOE, or 100,000 represents 5% of non-MOE. I have no idea. So if we can get some clarity around that.
Right now?
No,
Or
later.
later? Okay. All right. Nate?
Yeah, thank you. Just a thought. I agree that it's too early to provide clear guidance for this. And in talking with constituents, there's an interesting thing with transparency. The amount of transparency has been fantastic. In fact, it's been so much transparency that we're sharing things that are not yet determined. And because these are not yet determined, people think, or some constituents think, oh, well, they can't have a straight answer, so they must be hiding something. So it's sort of like a paradox of transparency, like a trans paradox. But I know, I'm sorry. But it is, I do think it's a good thing that we're erring on the side of sharing more than less. But I agree that it's a little too early. We do need more conversation to set clearer, or I need more conversation to set clearer opinions on direction.
Can you share what that might look like?
Like how the parking structure might look, whether it's just events or whether it's more regular, consistent times, whether referenda are the full million or a different amount. I mean, those two just stick out in my head.
So like, I think what we can get into the weeds,
Yeah.
but we can't get into the weeds on all the possible options.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's why we kind of want, like, we can go forward with, if this is the plan, we could go forward with it and unless and until we find a roadblock, and then we can turn back. But if you really think a referendum is the plan, that's the one you really like, then that's a kind of a different path. So it's really helpful we're at a juncture early on, and we can't, because it's such a small group and we're going on it's just too much. So we really need some like guidance now, and then, but knowing that. So basically, if you can at least tell us that at this particular juncture, knowing that it might not work out, like the path might not work out. So if you do think a referendum is a way to go, that would be like, get the feedback from here and we can pursue that.
Okay. Thanks.
We have Josh next.
Thanks, Emily. I was looking through some messages. I couldn't quite find it. Maybe I imagined it, but given the fact that this is going to be, a deficit budget year, and there's people in the community that are not going to like what we have to present or pass in the end, and I'm hesitant to ask things that require more staff work, but I think for the public it might be helpful if it's possible to have, maybe once this gets a little more formed, it's pretty raw right now, it's like May or June, maybe have like just the library a public forum
Yeah,
where this can be
for- yep.
presented directly to the people. I really would strongly urge, once you get some sort of
Yep.
solidification here, to have the public have a chance to engage, hear it directly, and then ask questions. So
Yeah.
that'd be great to have.
For sure, yep. And we're supposed to be doing our spring, fall
Oh,
district
sure.
discussions too, so that was my plan, was to take this out and refine it further with public. And it's kind of like what Nate was saying, it's like
Yeah.
chicken and egg.
I still think it would be good to have a singular one just on the budget
Okay, yeah.
at the library
Yep.
sometime.
Aaron?
Thank you. Does the mowing costs and stuff, are we already taking into consideration the native plant savings? Or is that
well-
not sure how we can do that yet?
I will tell you, so this is what we learned from that process, was that we really thought that would be a savings, but as it turned out, mostly we ended up doing a pollinator in the right of way, large tracts of right of way, and areas that are not as mowed as frequently, because we were trying to avoid being close to actively used parks. And so the streets maintains those right-of-way mowing, and they only do it like several times a season. So it doesn't, it was like, this just kind of shows you, like, it's actually to get rid of this much, like 170,000 worth of mowing, it's really hard. Because in that case, we tried really hard, and it is going to be awesome, and it does save time, but it doesn't help the parks staff very much. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's, we'll see. And then to do other large-scale pollinator conversion, we probably want to find an alternative to the herbicide, and then that's like kind of what that group is working on, but it might take more time and effort to make those conversions.
Okay. Clara?
Thanks. I think I had submitted a question about the Day Resource Center and how much is that. Do we have any way to be able to gauge or estimate how much the existence now and the opening of the Day Resource Center will save in terms of police department workload over the course of the year? I know we're early now, it's March, but is there a way to project that? Do we have goals? Do we have metrics that we're trying to reach with the police department related to the unhoused population and the strain on our police department?
I don't know that it is, I think it makes it like a better response to people who are unhoused, and I hope it has better outcomes, but it certainly takes a ton of time to coordinate with the DRC and just all the other entities, so I don't know that it would reduce their time, and then even if it did reduce their time, then they would hopefully go and do like traffic enforcement, which we get lots of requests for and stuff like that.
Right. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to understand, because I think when we were talking all about that investment in that we really thought it was going to alleviate the burden. We heard a lot about the burden it places on our police department.
I hope
today.
it does, but just like I went out with the cleaning group this Monday, and there's a big push to try to preserve property, for example, that's left behind, which makes sense, but it's very large. And so one of our lieutenants spent, quite a bit of time trying to figure out what to do with the property, to transport it someplace, which takes like a truck because it was more than one person could carry, and then it didn't have any identification, so then that person coordinated with the DRC to try to, and so like maybe the DRC will create a storage facility, and then we would transport the materials to that storage facility.
So we're
Anyways,
still figuring it out.
yeah, and I don't know that it's, I hope, I don't know that it'll take less effort, I just hope that there'll be better outcomes, I guess, for the
Okay.
people who are unhoused.
And I'm also curious, did other council members, are there other ideas that came through when we did this spreadsheet exercise? Did we have any other new ideas that were not?
One idea to use the CDBG funding.
That was my idea.
We actually just awarded our CDBG for this year, and that could be, I know there has been interest in having more conversation about that, but it all goes to those nonprofit providers right now, so like Habitat and Western Dairyland and Hmong Mutual. Some of it goes to the Housing Authority. So and then this year the Health Department actually proposed, they normally have gotten like maybe 70,000 or something like that for They're housing, like the,
Or weather, right?
What?
Was it weathering? Weather?
Like inspections.
Inspections, yeah.
And like trying to remediate like poor living conditions, basically. But so they increased it a little bit so we could award that, which would help offset the health departments. But basically, you would be robbing Peter to pay Paul, which maybe we want to do. And there's also, well, you can only spend like 100,000 on public services, which is the most flexible category. So it's that was one idea, and maybe some can go that way, but it's not like a lot of money.
That was my idea, and I was thinking about the health department knowing
Yeah.
that a chunk of.
They will, well, depending on what gets awarded, they could receive, I think it's like 80,000.
I mean, and it's wonderful we can provide that support to nonprofits, but just like we're having conversations about the senior center
Yeah.
and DECI, like it's. I just wonder if that should be part of the conversation
can-
for
yeah.
you all to have, because I won't be here. But yeah, but CDBG funding, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's. I think Charlie.
Thanks. It'll be quick. I just, sounds like there's still plenty of discussion to be had on the front of the sheet. But maybe I'm misunderstanding, but you're looking for some feedback on the back, whatever the 16 items are that you crossed off. I guess I know now I'm not in favor of bringing any of them back on, particularly the referendums.
Why?
What's that? Because I don't think it's smart to go through a referendum right now, especially with some of the potential referendums we could be having in the future that could lead to long-term revenue, like a sales tax or a convention center referendum. I do think residents would be referendumed out, and another one at this time, potentially a failing one, just sets you up for failure even more so in the future. And I don't want to take that risk when there are two great opportunities in the future for referendums that could provide that long-term financial revenue. I just don't think it'd be smart. So I wouldn't be in support of it. I just wanted to share that feedback now.
Thanks, Charlie. Larry.
Yeah, the guy you talk too much. Anyway, thank you, Emily. This budget is for 2027, and the people have been asking me about they are scared it would be this for like this summer.
Right.
So next year there's like we might have a different state government. So if this body give you direction to make these changes, and we have a new state government, if they give us more shared revenue,
Yeah.
can we go back to the original?
Is that your question?
Yeah.
That is a really great question, Larry, and I hope that a year from now we'll be in that position of having more revenue. And I'm here to say that if that happens, then we are going to have a whole lot of other hard decisions to make because there's so much pent-up demand for services and adjustments. Like every single department in our city needs twice as many people. I mean, basically, like everybody's doing like at least 50% more than they should be doing. And plus our community's growing, and I hope it happens, and I think it'll be a really exciting conversation, but it'll also be a hard conversation because there is so many people that need so much. But yeah, we will go back to this list and try to, hopefully we'll continue to be thinking out of the box and like making it hard choices, and really like the thing about having no money is that we're so careful about every penny, and we want to be as disciplined when we do have more money so that we have really great outcomes. And that's a future problem if it happens. But I hope that we will be trying to answer that question, Larry, like a year from now.
I would hold your feet to the fire.
Thank you.
There you go.
So do people generally do you want to think about this some more, or do you kind of generally think this is an okay direction for now, providing that we do take this forward to community input, get back on some of these questions to you, and continue to update you as we fill in the blanks on this? Are you guys okay with this direction?
Maybe just say, like, if you have any comments, try to get them to you by the end of the week.
Yeah.
so you can start moving
Yep.
forward.
Yeah, I also feel like I want to study this a little more.
Yep, I can send it to you as well. I gotta double check it one more time, and then I'll send it, we can put it out publicly and stuff like that. It's just hard because it's really affects, I know I was kind of like joking around, but this is really sad and serious. All of us are a little like punch drunk or whatever, because we've just been talking about this so much, but it's super heavy for the people it affects, our staff and also the community, you know, all the people who are impacted by this. So we appreciate all the time you're putting into this and the hard thinking you're doing too. Okay, so now we're gonna, Larry,
do we
you
have
want to say
more?
something?
No, for me, I wanted to say, I wanted to second what Jessica said. So I think we should all, until we have the news council present, and then it's only less than 3 weeks.
Well, they can come in with their own ideas, I think, and then shape the conversation going forward. But I don't think we can ever, I think you're the body right now, and then who comes forward is going to have their say, and they can. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to transition to transit, and I have just a little handout here. Yeah.
There's more. I don't know.
Hello again. I only have a couple slides, but we just wanted to run some ideas by you and they still have to go to Transit Commission, they still need public input, but just based off of the initial comments we received within the last month or so. The first thing is talking about updating our fare structure, so increasing revenue. This is pretty hard to predict because you don't know at what point do you raise a fare so high that then people just opt for a different option. We're thinking this is kind of a unique way about going about a fare structure. I don't know if anyone else in Wisconsin does it this way, but our idea would be that if you buy a ticket for one day, it's good all day. We do currently have a day pass like this that is $3.75. It's pretty underutilized. I'd say the majority of people that take the bus frequently have a monthly pass, but this would bridge the gap for people that, there's quite a few people that buy tickets and they probably should buy a day pass, but they just don't like the risk of knowing they don't know how many rides they're going to take in a day. If we were to increase the day pass cost to $4, that would mean our elderly and disabled price and income qualifying price would be $2 a day. So that would be up from 85 cents per ride. So when you think of it like that, I think it's, I would say also the majority of our folks do use the income qualifying and elderly and disabled pass. So going from 85 cents a ride to $2, it's capped for the day. I don't foresee that being a huge issue to people because oftentimes when hardly anyone carries around just 85 cents in their pocket, people usually just round up to $1. So what this does is we could set our monthly pass at any amount. I did project it being higher, but it gives this sense of, oh, I have an unlimited pass. I could take more rides. I'm not constrained to, traveling on certain days. It just makes more sense, gets people in the bus more than just if you were to pay cash or with our single-use tickets. The big cost savings from this or revenue generator would be paratransit. Our paratransit cost is capped at double the price of our standard fare. So this would make our standard fare $4, and it would mean that a paratransit ride would be $8. Currently it's $3.50, which it is quite a big leap for those folks. It doesn't have to be $8. That would just be the max that it would be. Paratransit is unique because the more rides that we provide, the more expensive it gets, whereas with the bus, the more rides we provide, the cheaper per ride it is. So Every ride we provide, we get billed from Abbey Vans $45. So not only would it be creating revenue going from $8 to $3.50 to $8, but it might make people change their habits a little bit more, rely more on friends and family. We did see this with the increase of our agency fares this year, so that started January 1st. If you recall, it used to be a $20 ride, and we upped it to $45 per ride. This is for folks that live in like a long-term nursing home or have a provider that the state is funding the transportation costs. So we raised that price because group homes were basically being able to profit from us subsidizing them. So when we made that change, it's only been 2 months, but we have seen more savings than we anticipated by that. Each month we had 200 fewer rides with paratransit. Majority of those agency rides are to employment, so that stayed about the same. The rides that declined were mainly social rides, so people getting out and about. So we do think if we made those changes, we would, our general fund savings would be about $140,000, increasing the fare for all of those. There are pieces we cannot anticipate of how many people will opt to not take a ride, but that's what we're proposing. If you want to give feedback now. Clara?
So if you could explain to everybody again, including myself, revenue estimated increase of, say, $96,800 with the increased fare structure, local share impact.
Yeah.
That is what?
Yep, so our total budget for transit, you take all of our operating expenses, and then to get the federal and state fare, or state share, you subtract all of our revenue. So when we make $1, it actually only impacts us locally 50 cents worth, because I can see the diagram in my head, but essentially you subtract all of your revenue or profits, and then that total amount, our net operating deficit, is what gets divided by half federal, local, roughly. So when you make money, you only see the impact of half of it.
I knew that was the case for expenses, but I think I'm seeing more clearly now that if we have increased revenue, it does come to us, but then our subsidy gets reduced.
Yeah, so when you say it, it's the less money we make, the more federal revenue we get. But that also means we have to bring the same amount to the table. So with the K through 12, waiving those fares, which has been going really well the last 2 months as well, I think we budgeting it only impacted us locally $10,000 or $20,000 worth, but like the value that we've seen has far surpassed it. So I did just look in February last year, we provided 1,800 K through 12 rides, and this February we provided 3,100 rides. So it's been it's been really awesome to see the increase. But okay, I don't know if anyone else has comments on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Aaron? Oh, sorry, Mr.
Andrew had his on first.
Oh, thanks. So we've gone through a couple fare increases during the time that I've been on city council, 2 or 3. And we have numbers to show what the ridership change is. And I wonder if you might be able to share that analysis back with us. So it's like, there's a way to kind of see if you increase it this much, here's how many fewer people will take the bus. I know that exists somewhere.
Yeah, I'll go through and I know the last fare change it's been a while. So, and a lot of people have been pushing it's $1.75 a lot of people just put $2 in our fare boxes, so kind of making it right in that regard would make more sense. But this also kind of moves us towards the idea of fare capping, which is what a lot of agencies do. A lot of other agencies have technology to help fare cap, but fare capping is essentially like a no-risk way of paying. So you pay per ride until you hit a certain amount per day, and it's capped, and then in a month you pay a certain amount, and then it's capped for the month. So it's, because a lot of our folks, you know, they might not be able to upfront $60 at the beginning of the month, but you know, there's ideas too, like, do we implement a weekly pass, or really we can do whatever you want with what our pass structure looks like. So any ideas I'm happy for.
Yeah, so my brain just snapped to something when you were talking about the fare capping. So would it be like, you know, you buy enough, once you buy enough daily passes to justify a monthly one, you just like bring them in with their dates on them and be like, here. Or would it be something more like an electronic profile that people just somehow keep track of?
Yeah, we are, I was thinking of it more of like implementing a weekly pass. So then it's like, well, if you know you're going to be taking the bus
Sure.
3 times a week, it's a no-brainer. To more of a, I don't know, that's a good idea of bringing in the passes, but I think it would be really challenging to do it without electronics. But we are looking at a fare payment system that Milwaukee County Transit has. It's called WISCO, and it's a state contract where other municipalities can sign on to it. And Appleton, Waukesha, I think, they've signed on to it. So it's one app for many systems. So we are looking into it to do it electronically. But.
I have a
follow-up?
Yeah. So if you could give us a little bit of background with regards to paratransit and under what parameters we are required to provide it. My understanding is that if a person's residence is within, you know, X distance from a fixed route,
yep.
Then, and they can't make it to the fixed route, then we're required to do paratransit. Is that accurate?
Yep, it's within 3/4 of a mile.
Okay.
We do have a contract with the county to provide rides outside of that 3/4 of a mile buffer, but the county is billed for those that we otherwise wouldn't serve.
Okay. And then the other question is, like, how long is are the paratransit contracts? Are they like a year at a time? Are they like 5 years?
No, I think this last one is a 5-year contract, and I think it's done in 2028. So 2027 time? 28.
Okay.
So we do know, like each year the price per ride increases from Abbey Vans. I do have a slide. I did have a slide on it, but sorry. No, it's okay. I can send it out too. Basically, we have all the comparable, not all of them. We're still waiting on some comparables from other communities in Wisconsin where it's like contracted versus in-house, cost per ride, service area, and I can share it. La Crosse did a lot of the heavy lifting of it because they also have Abbey Vans and their contract is up. So I'm very curious to see where their contract with them comes in. Currently, their contract price is $32 per ride and ours is $43 per ride. But I think it was just where where the contract terms start, like the year end started and ended.
Are there any places that you're aware of? This is my last one, Emily, I promise. Are there any places that you're aware of that use the same vehicles for paratransit and some form of microtransit?
Yeah, Green Bay uses both. They use via paratransit and microtransit. There are other communities that do as well.
Thank you.
Good questions.
Larry?
Yeah, thank you. Just curious. The student use a lot of, we have a contact with the university. Have you guys reached out to them and
Yeah. Yep. We have. I recently met with them. I think 2 weeks ago. We were talking about microtransit with them, and we can get to that in a later slide. But the university makes up half of our riders, and through their contract, they pay so that the university students don't have to worry about a pass or their fare, and that local share, so they're a part of our local share, that doesn't count towards revenue. So we can use that to match our federal dollars. So I do love, and same is true with Altoona and the county as well, so local partners. I think that's a really good opportunity to move forward to, like any other, like Mayo buys passes from us, but those count as revenue. So if we had a contract with Mayo, we could use that money a little bit farther. So things like that, all for.
Okay.
But that's not impacted in your analysis here at all? You didn't include students at all?
Nope, I did not.
Did you say you have more slides?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe can we pause the questions? I didn't know that.
No, it's.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's keep her moving.
Okay, so a lot of people have been asking us, or we've been the subject of many questions about ridership and different hours of the day. So we did just have a transit development plan created, and within it were many cost neutral changes. We do think that some of those could lead to cost savings in the long run with some consolidations of routes. So my team has started running some of those routes. And in the summer, we will be running a lot of different ideas on how we can serve areas of town better or more efficiently. So when we're talking about service reductions, I did just want to get some feedback on what is the most important things to you. So there are basically 3 things that we can cut in transit. It's hours of service, so does it mean ending our evenings earlier, or is it changing hours on Saturday? Really, it's just when we serve the public. Another change would be geographic coverage. So would it be making our routes shorter, or just eliminating areas of the city being served entirely? So when I talk about consolidation of routes, it would be that idea of just having maybe one route serving areas that are currently covered by 2 routes, but some of the areas that aren't heavily transit used currently, maybe cutting them out. Or then the last option is frequency. So we know that our most frequent routes are the routes that have the most ridership on it. That's how you're going to get choice riders, because if I own a car, but the bus only comes, once per hour, it would have to really fit into my day for me to feel inclined to use it. So the 9 and 19, which is our university routes, have heaviest usage by far, and then the 8 and 18. We have 2 buses on the 8 and 18 right now. It's a very well-used and loved route. And then our routes 1 and 6 both serve the mall, and they're at the mall every 30 minutes. So we see the best ridership at those times, but it's really a question of, do we want ridership to increase, or do we want to maintain the unique users for transit? So really, we know we could serve a small area very, very well, or would we rather serve a larger area of more people, but only really serve the people that need to be served? So that's kind of the question that, we could design it anyway, the system anyway, but really what matters to everybody here.
Okay, so you're looking for feedback?
Yeah.
Okay, Josh?
Thanks. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that reducing frequency is the worst of the three to do for a transit system. Like, I think once an hour right now is kind of the minimum. I think anything less than that, people would just stop using it. Is this
Yeah.
what you're, okay, so I would be not wanting to touch frequency and try to get service reduction potentials out of the other two factors, because, once every 2 hours, who's going to take that?
Yep.
Probably nobody, so.
Yeah, Aaron? Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I guess if I had the magic wand, I would figure out like 4 or maybe 5 routes at the most and run them as frequently as we could afford to do it. And then have a paratransit, microtransit combo that was always appointment-based. So like instead of the on-call stuff, like you could always call in if you needed one in 5 minutes, but you might not get it, right? And that way we can ensure that people that are using that service know exactly when they're gonna be able to get to work, because they're making those calls ahead of time. And I need a transit for, I don't know what we would charge, $6 or $10 if it was that. I need it every day at 8, and then they're built into our framework.
Yeah.
To me, that seems like an easier option for us to do without expensive software from someplace else, as well as something that's more, I can't even think of the word, but like something that, people can count on, like they can on a fixed route, as opposed to
Reliable.
Yep.
reliable. Yes, more reliable, on a like scheduled basis. Not that it's never going to show up, but
Yes.
you might. My understanding is with the Northern Light, like if there's calls that are on the way, like 3 people will be picked up, and it might delay your arrival where you're trying to go significantly. So I would much rather have the whole system just be like a call and schedule for areas that we don't have fixed service. So.
Thanks. I agree with what both Josh and Aaron have said. Cutting frequency would be the least attractive of this, and I'm really would like us to. I think we have an opportunity. Sounds like you're looking at to maybe rethink the whole system, and if we rethink the whole system, really thinking for the future. So really thinking about frequency in the places that we expect bus riders to live. And so that the bus service could influence where people will live and work potentially. So again, your planner hat, I'm sure is, thinking, is trained to think in that way. So I'd really like us to think about the planning for this. And from what I understand about transit design, frequency is the goal, and also just from an environmental point of view, fewer vehicles coming into the downtown, I think is really, really important for us to continue to think about, is having different transfers out in different places. Maybe it's microtransit feeding into a few routes that all come into downtown on a very frequent basis. Then we can really pretty much get everybody where they need to go quickly. But so lots more frequency, substantially greater frequency, I think would really dramatically change the way people ride the bus.
Yeah, I'm open to us looking at that hours of service piece. I thought Phil, when he addressed us a couple weeks ago, I think it was, talked about, sometimes during the middle of the day, maybe we can go to, or have a gap on some of the routes because we're just seeing so few riders, if any. But then in the evenings and early in the morning, later in the evening, people need it. So I'm open to that conversation, but I'm with other folks on frequency.
Okay, thank you.
Nate?
Well, thank you. Just thinking about the type of customers, I understand there's a spectrum between, on one side, many who find it convenient versus the few who rely on it. So on that spectrum, I'm like right here, like cater to the people who rely on it more so than the people who need it on the spectrum. But however that would be done, I'm open. I agree with my colleagues on the frequency.
I just want to say too, since the school routes are doing really well, or kids getting to school, I think it want to keep those intact as well, not, because that's great, because those are future, you know, they're learning those skills now that will hopefully keep them. So as they stay in Eau Claire, you know, they can keep riding the bus. So.
Yeah. I'm really curious. Our busiest express route is DeLong, and I'm excited to see, once those kids go to high school, if we'll see a movement to North and Memorial. But it'll be hard to track, and we got years to go, but
Do they use it for after-school sports and activities too? I would think that's a big thing. Yeah.
So I've just heard from drivers. They see people or students getting to like after-school jobs often. We have more kids around the 3 o'clock hour in our transfer center waiting for other buses, not just the express routes that might drive by their house on the way, but that maybe means that they could have taken student transit but are opting not to. You know, they might be outside of that 2-mile area, or maybe it's a custody thing. I'm not entirely sure, but we are seeing just across the board more students on all of our routes and not just our express routes. So it's been cool.
That's great. Well, I've been on a school bus and a transit bus, and I mean, it's a nicer ride, I think, on the transit.
Yeah, the kids are all excited because the seats are full oftentimes, and so like you'll see middle schoolers holding on to the little ropes on the top.
I love that. That's great. Okay. Oh, you have more. And you have more slides too, just so?
Just, yeah.
Okay. But you guys have more to say on?
Transit?
Yeah.
Is that okay if we keep moving? Okay.
Okay. We've been talking about microtransit with our pilot program, and I've been able to meet with probably half of the stakeholders I want to so far. I'd say the feedback is largely positive. Some of the agencies have really hit the point of safety for the people that they serve. So CVTC, UW Eau Claire, BPAC, I think have all mentioned that like when it's dark at night, it would be really nice to know, okay, my vehicle is coming in a couple minutes, which is the same for the bus, you know when the bus is coming, but and it's going to take me exactly where I need to go. I don't have to wait at a bus stop. So kind of an unexpected thing, I think, for me to hear back was just they're excited about the door-to-door just for safety purposes. And then the other piece of feedback was that over time, they think that this will get pretty popular with folks, especially given the low price point that our pilot is at right now. We haven't seen that huge surplus that people anticipate, but if it was open to the entire city, there was concern over, like paratransit, the more rides or the higher demand, the more expensive it gets versus the bus, where more rides means cheaper per ride. So those were like the main points of feedback, I'd say, that I've gotten. Other groups like CVTC really excited about the potential of serving outside of areas that aren't currently served by the bus. But so our thought was, if we were to do microtransit in the evening, would we raise the price to be more of a like a competition for Uber or Lyft, I would say, but then also being able to serve the people that really need it, whether it be a monthly pass or so kind of a combination.
Great.
Can I
Josh?
just point out this?
Sure.
So this handout that we have here was something we worked through with VIA to model the cost of evening microtransit, and if we did it in-house, it would be a little different. And also, you could just do like you could keep some fixed routes, and you could do some microtransit. And also, like if you do paratransit in-house, like if we purchase vans rather than the full buses as part of our next CIP, then it may be possible to basically mingle like to try some paratransit. I should let Katrina talk, but anyway, it seems like there might be some way to like explore this further. But this spreadsheet shows you that if you did microtransit in the evening, you could save money if you charge more, and then that would also cover paratransit in the evening. So this is like if you change the assumptions, it comes up with different savings or cost or whatever.
Okay, Josh?
I think, could you, it seems a little counterintuitive on the surface that the more that microtransit is used, the more expensive it is. Can you delve into that a little bit?
Yeah. So you get to a point where adding more riders would mean you would need to add more vans.
Mm-hmm.
So really, that threshold of like when we need to add another bus is much higher than
Sure.
A 5-car van. But
So I guess it kind of ratchets up, like,
Yep,
once you
it's-
add one more, it's dipped, and you can get back in it, but
Yep.
you're kind of dipping your way up and down, and then you're right. Okay.
So when it's like a perfectly efficient system, that wouldn't be the case. Like we want it to be as busy as possible without being burdened, I would say. But yeah, it is kind of like
So you
stairs.
like to be using 4.9 out of 5 vehicles and not using 5.1 out of 5 vehicles?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Exit. Okay. I don't know who was, Clara?
Thank you for all of the brainstorming here. This sheet that we got, the spreadsheet, I would love to go through that in complete detail, because I have a lot of questions. I see a lot of numbers with a lot of line items, and perhaps this isn't the right time to do that. I don't know, but I'd like to get walked through this spreadsheet. The other thing, I guess, comment that I have, I know last time we talked about transit, we had talked about the idea of modeling in-housing paratransit and also modeling a microtransit that is, like Aaron said earlier, not on demand, but by reservation, sort of. So I'm really interested in those models.
Yep. We are too. It's very uncharted territory for us. We do know, we have all the data from Avivans, so that's really exciting to know, when and where and why people are going certain places. So within our CIP, not to give spoilers, but we do have...
Please do.
We do have some smaller fleet vehicles that we're interested in purchasing to potentially trial some paratransit in-house. So we have subscription rides, which is a ride that we can count on every single day, whether it's dialysis or employment. We know, like you said, that we have to provide it. So we do have some hubs within the city that Avivans might have 6 or 7 vans there every morning. And to me, it's like, well, if I could have one driver go and pick up everyone and bring them here, that could save us a lot of money. So we have been researching software for this. Just with the amount of reporting we need to do, we can't just do it pen and paper. So we have been getting demos from a variety of different places, and it's also interesting with our contract with the county too. It's like at one point, I really enjoy working with them as a partner, and I think their service to everyone in the county is really great. But I do know that Avivans has 26 vans in Eau Claire serving everyone, so that quantity is a little bit daunting to me, but if we got to start somewhere.
So my question is it a plan to do this, to model it and bring it forth to us? Or should we expect to have a presentation on a more detailed model?
I would just say, just manage your expectations, because it's there's just like one person, so.
I don't think we would bring, yeah.
I think it sounds great, but we might not be able to figure, it might have to be, think about like an incremental step, and then, so the software is a piece of it, and actually it's the same software for, you can use the same software for microtransit and paratransit?
Yeah, VIA provides for both, and many of the other companies that do paratransit also commingle with microtransit. So it's just a change in the setting, but you can have a system where you count all microtransit as paratransit.
So, but basically, if you say like, we really want to go all in on paratransit and take it in-house, if that's what you're saying, I think we would, I don't even know if that's something like, what would be like a tiny step we could take next year?
Well, you
Yeah,
know,
we would not
Buy vans.
bring all of it in-house next year by any means, but so a couple of the, like the Career Development Center and Reach Incorporated, like starting there, or we know there's some disability support groups that meet monthly. Like if we even save on some of those rides, it does go really far. Like we see the spreadsheets all the time, and it's like, wow, if we just had one van there. So just small, like, you know, you can count on this ride is going to happen.
I guess it's really hard to say that this is a really good idea till we do an analysis of it. I mean, I feel like we need a pretty robust analysis, because this is complicated.
Is that something we could hire a consultant to do?
Yeah.
I mean,
can.
we'd have to figure out a funding source, is the thing.
Aaron?
Yeah, so I'm wondering how all these moving parts would impact our share of federal and state funding. Because my understanding, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is that one of the reasons that our, funding has sort of been stable, at least state-wise, is that other places are reducing their transit. And so, there's actually money available to come to us, at least from the state area. And so I guess my concern is that if we lower our budget, it's actually a double hit to transit. And then in 3 years, if our funding is more stable, if we try to get it back, we won't. And I don't know if you could speak on that, or let me know in the future.
I will say just state funding for transit in general is not going up at the moment. Especially, they moved the transit budget into the general fund instead of in the transportation fund at the state. So transit is now competing against schools, or like it's not looked at as transportation. So that is something that we're a part of WIPTA, Wisconsin Public Transit Association, and we have lobbyists, and they keep pretty good pulse on things. So I'm not sure I guess I'm not concerned of, like, if we were to cut, we wouldn't be able to get it back at this point.
Looks like we're done.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Don't
Oh.
worry about it.
Oh.
You know it already.
So what are people's feedback about, I just want to go back to the consulting about the paratransit. As you know, I'm not one to say no to stuff because I love the big ideas, but I am getting worried about our capacity to pull off these major, like we're doing, the trash is going to be huge, and then our parking is going to be really big. And so, and we're not backfilling, as we just talked about, some positions. So it's going to be the same folks, like stretch, pulled different ways. So even though it'd be a consultant, it's still like a lot of work. So it might have to be a smaller, that's just my reflection, it might have to be a smaller bite. And you know what I'm saying, Clara?
I hear what you're saying. I mean, you can't do what you can't do. It's just hard for me to give feedback without really understanding the financial analysis.
Well, just for next year, what do you want us to, which of these do you want us to explore?
I think I'm going to say it again, that I think I need to see a more detailed financial analysis, personally.
Can other people chime in? Like specifically, which things should we focus on, given the limited staff?
Well, if I could, I mean, the fare increases seems, I hate to say it, a no-brainer. I mean, the way you've put it forth. And again, it seems like you see low-hanging fruit opportunities for consolidating some rides and doing something with, I don't know, paratransit. I don't know how that impacts our contracts. If you can do it piecemeal, or if it then blows up your whole thing and you have to rethink the whole thing, that's a little unclear to me. But this evening paratransit model, I'd like to do for me personally, I need to see a much more detail.
So do we have feedback from our transit commission on these ideas? Because normally we would look to them for a recommendation on policy.
Yeah, I have not brought these specific slides back. They are in favor of looking at route changes and looking at the times of routes as well. So support on that. They were very supportive of when we increase the agency fare. There will be pushback on any fare increase from the public and from the commission, but if it means not cutting routes, I think I would think that they would agree to it.
Yeah.
But we will be bringing it to them. I just had to cancel this month's meeting, but.
Oh, okay. That's helpful context sometimes. People who ride the bus a lot and have experiences.
Yeah.
Aaron, did you have?
Yeah, just one last thing. I do think using the day pass and maybe some sort of day, week, month situation is on the right track. Because my assumption, I guess, is that, I think you're supposed to buy a second fare once you get to the transit center, aren't you?
You get a free transfer.
A free transfer.
So the day pass would actually get rid of some of that. We do see some fare evasion in that way of people saying they're transfer, but they're not. So a day pass would eliminate that. It's not
a lot.
It's people that really need to ride, but.
But yeah, I like that idea.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other? Nate?
Just to throw something we discussed a while back, I'm advertising on benches. Let's keep that on the table.
Keep that on the bench.
On the bench,
Two pun limit.
Two? Are we at the limit?
No, 2 pun limit, I said. That was the second pun of the night.
I missed the first one.
Transparadox.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So yeah, I think you got pretty light feedback. We went along, reducing frequency, not good. Any other things stabilize or increase revenue or ridership. I would be interested to hear what does come out of transit and BPAC. So once it's going through those committees, maybe just in a meeting, just submit a report update. It'd be good to hear what they have because, like Andrew said, we do lean on the expertise of those who are most engaged. So that'd be good.
So I just wanted to reiterate that we are talking about cutting $115,000 from transit. So I know there will be pushback in general about making a cut, but just to understand that this is what our, recipe has. And if it doesn't come from there, then it needs to come from somewhere else.
But every department's pretty much.
But wait a minute, we're talking about an increase, the fare increase would cover that.
Yep, that would
Plus
cover
some.
it. Well, except don't we have to cut 330 with the federal, or is that including the
that
subsidy?
No, from the general fund, subsidy is cutting $115,000.
So this would cover it.
Your fair revenue. But if you go back,
But
that
if
was-
we got.
Is
It
there,
covers it.
one last question. Is there things that could be cut or restructured in such a way that it wouldn't impact our federal or state shared revenue?
The only thing would be the switch of revenue to partnership would be Mayo.
Okay.
And I have started talking about that with DHS because the unhoused voucher program was ARPA funded and it was $30,000. So we have made it very clear that it needs to come from a private entity if we were to continue that program, but DHS serves that population very well, so there have been talks on if we can have a partnership in that way. I don't know if that answers. That's the only thing I can think of that wouldn't.
Because the matching funds is for the entire operating budget, basically.
Mhm.
So anything that's in the operating budget impacts it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've thought about other things with, like we rent CMF right now, but then, I don't know. They're kind of like very small incremental ideas, but that's kind of how we have to save money at this point, but.
We have a lot of ideas, and they're not all good ideas.
That is true.
There's the quote of the night. Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Katrina.
Good.
This is it.
So if you have any other feedback on this sheet, let me know, and we'll just keep going ahead, and we appreciate all of your efforts and all your many meetings, and hold March 30th at 6 p.m.
Can it be earlier?
Huh?
Can it be earlier? We'll
It
talk
could be
later.
earlier if
What
you.
are we doing on that?
We're going to have a special meeting to potentially approve the agreement with the soccer partner. Do people prefer 4 or 5? Do people prefer 5? Do you like 5? Raise your hand if you can be there at 5 in the morning. Okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as long as we have. No, I'm joking. Okay, so 5. I'll move it to 5. Sold. All right, thank you guys.
Living the dream.
Sarah.